Now, the Supreme Court of Appeal in Bloemfontein is today expected to hear the appeal of former President Jacob Zuma. And now, this after the High Court judgment which ruled that his release on medical parole was unlawful and irrational. In his heads of argument, Zuma says that those who are attempting to get him back to prison are doomed to fail due to their misinterpretation of the law. He says that then Commissioner of Correctional Services Fraser had an obligation to protect him as an inmate and exercise his constitutional responsibilities. So for more on this, let's cross to our reporter in at the court, or she's in the court, I see. Makgala Masiteng is there for us. Makgala, good morning. So, of course, counting down the minutes now to this appearance, but perhaps just lay a groundwork for us in terms of what to expect today.
Good morning, Sakina. Well, what we're expecting to see today is to see the appellants on this case, both the former President Jacob Zuma as well as the Department of Correctional Services. They will try to convince the Supreme Court of Appeal that the decision that was taken by North Gauteng High Court last year, December, was not right. They will try to convince this court that the decision that was taken by the National Commissioner then to release former President Jacob Zuma on medical parole was lawful. They will be arguing, of course, as you have mentioned earlier on in your introduction, that the National Commissioner did follow the right procedures and he did follow the law, and the fact that he is empowered by the law to protect the rights of the inmate Jacob Zuma on this part, mentioning that Fraser had to protect him as an inmate in order to protect also his right to medical care, because when he was releasing Zuma on medical parole, he did mention that Zuma is suffering from multiple comorbidities, as well as stating that the correctional services facilities cannot be able to offer him the treatment that he requires. That's why he was released on medical parole. But also he did mention that he was also taking into consideration the events that took place in July last year, the unrest, and also trying to make sure that he tries to prevent the reoccurrence of that. But also we have the respondents here, the DA, the AfriForum, as well as the Helen Suzman Foundation, who will be arguing that the court was right, the High Court was right in saying that the medical parole was unlawful. Remember that the High Court did mention that the medical parole was unlawful. It also declared that Zuma should be taken back to custody, and also the fact that the time he had spent outside the court during this parole time should not be counted towards his 15 months imprisonment. So we will see what will happen, but basically that's what both the appellants and respondents will be arguing before the court. Of course, the appellants trying to convince the Supreme Court of Appeal to overturn the decision of the High Court, and on the other hand, the respondents on this case trying to ensure that the Supreme Court of Appeal upheld the decision that was taken by the High Court last year, December.
Well, thanks so much, Makgala Masiteng, and no doubt crossing back to her later on as people start arriving at the court, and of course later on for the actual proceedings.